Can I get your reaction to the recent actions of ISIS and the way they've been so aggressive in Iraq and Syria?
Obviously, it is a sick situation. And very sad about what is going on. It is a crazy crisis. Watching the scenes of immorality, inhumanity, and injustice is painful for every person of dignity and consciousness. When we see these people, that they are slaughtering innocent citizens in Syria and in Iraq, killing the husbands in front of their wives, and raping women and girls, and distributing them among the fighters, ISIS fighters. This is a human tragedy to see, first of all, millions of people from Syria and Iraq. They are homeless, hungry, and under bombardment, and suffering, no security and no service. And at the same time, to see that all of this happen in the name of faith. They call them Islamic State. As a matter of fact, a lot of people in the community think that this is a conspiracy, a crime against Islam to fuel the fire of Islamophobia in general. It's a big mystery. These people, they kill Muslims, they kill Christians, they destroy mosques, they destroy churches. They destroy any sign of civilization, science, and religious history. Destroy everything with the message of death and destruction. So people, they look at the situation in Gaza, the tragedy, war crime, massacre of almost 12,000 people were killed or wounded in almost 4 weeks. 600-700 of them women and children who were killed. So in Gaza, Netanyahu does this in the name of this Jewish state. And then al-Baghdadi, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, does this in the name of Islamic State. In reality, none of them represent their faith. What Netanyahu has been doing in Gaza was a crime against the true teachings of Judaism. And what Baghdadi has been doing and is doing now in Iraq and in Syria is a crime against the teachings of Islam. They are enemies of peace and enemies of justice, enemies of morality, enemies of human dignity and integrity. So we are very, very sad of this situation. I'm losing the ability of watching those scenes of immorality and human tragedies in Iraq and Syria with these terrorist organizations that they come, we don't know from where, from all these countries and nationalities, 80, 90 countries, all these extremists, ignorance, terrorists, criminals gathering in one place to exercise occupation and oppression, genocide, killing everything and destroying everything and killing everybody, is a big mystery that many people in our community consider that a crime against Islam, a crime against Christianity, a crime against humanity, and is was very painful to go through this experience.
Is there concern that as Westerners look at what's happening in Iraq, that they'll paint all Muslims with a broad brush and perceive the people in Dearborn, Michigan differently because of the savagery that's happening in Iraq?
Well, we see there is a double standard in the politics, in the White House, and the Congress, talking about human rights, democracy, American values, but in reality not to preach, not to practice what they preach. That is the problem. To prize people who committed war crimes, to directly or indirectly support this terrorist organization like ISIS. Somebody would say where the money is coming from, where the might is coming from, where are these people who are equipped with all these facilities? Saudi Arabia is supporting through the money, and they want to see war all over to bring safety to themselves. Honestly, looking at the situation, well, we are blessed still to have a great constitution in the United States, that I would prefer this constitution 1,000 times more than that shameful so-called Sharia law that ISIS and other extremists, they are talking about. And also we have congressmen like Kucinich and also Congressman Paul, that they bring so much honor and dignity to this country. Other than that, we see that our Congress people and the White House and the President, during this situation, both in Gaza and now ISIS in Iraq and Syria, they went through a huge moral failure of not to do the right thing and not to be on the right side of this struggle.
The humanitarian aid drops are imminent. By the time we talk about this tomorrow, it looks like the first round of aid drops will be complete. What is your reaction to the U.S. sending aid directly to the people who are being victimized by the Islamic State?
Well, first off, this is too little too late, but still is better than nothing. It's good to help these people. They are in desperate need of service, security, food, and support. But the most important thing is to support the Iraqi government to take care of these matters. Unfortunately, after so much losses in Iraq, the question is that, is this the legacy that we are expecting? A lack of order and chaos and confusion and crime against everybody. Was this the legacy that we are looking for? Obviously, the administration did not honor so many agreements that they had with the Iraqi government to provide them with enough support and enough arm to stand against this fitna, this aggression and oppression of ISIS and other extremists and terrorist organizations, that they are using the ignorance of some individual and poverty that exists in certain countries to brainwash certain youth and bring them together and use them in the name of God, but in reality, in the name of their ego, in the name of their arrogance, in the name of their greed and selfishness. And this is the tragedy that is going on. And obviously, our administration and the Congress did not do enough. As a matter of fact, they have been silent. It is a serious sin to watch what is going on in Iraq now for a long time, and before that in Syria. And knowing that the support and the arm and weapon that the United States have been providing for the opposition groups in Syria would end up in the hands of extremists like ISIS fighters. And knowing all of these things, doing nothing about that, and not even talking about this extremism and terrorism, not doing enough. How come that our government can mobilize the whole Western Europe in one night and impose sanctions against Russia, but we cannot do something like this against Netanyahu or against ISIS or against other people who are troublemakers in the Middle East? As a matter of fact, to reward those who are guilty and to punish the innocent people and the innocent citizens, that is a serious moral problem in our politics.
In the event that U.S. military strikes have to be used to complement the airdrops or to protect the aid that is being given to these people, will your position change that the humanitarian aid is better than nothing?
Well, I would say that there is a government in Iraq that was elected through the democratic way in that country, and the best thing is that the United States government to coordinate the matters with the Iraqi government and to see what is the best to bring security, to save people, to save innocent, to stop the ISIS, to put an end to this cancer that has started and is poisoning all over the areas, and certain guys like gangsters, that they look like human beings, but they are worse than any violent animals, and they are attacking everyone. It's not that they are attacking only the Shias. Look at Mosul, they are killing the Sunnis as well. And now look at Kirkuk and other areas. They are killing and forcing Christians to leave their houses and destroy their churches. So there should be some actions. It is not enough for our politicians just to give lecture. This is like a clergy. We give lecture because we don't have any other power. But they have power, they have money, they have military, they have media, they have connection, they have influences. They must do something. Not just to give a lecture and say, well, it's not acceptable or it's unjustifiable or it is just shameful. Well, we already know the problem. What are you going to do about that? So practice what you preach. That is our message to the President, to the Congress, to the entire administration, and to whoever is involved in the situation. We are facing a real danger. And one day was Syria, and then Iraq, and now even in Lebanon. We see the aggression on the Lebanese army now. And it's not going to stop. Someone must stop these gangsters. And they are going to come to everybody. If they are able to, one day, to be a threat even for United States. They showed it, that they are absolutely careless.
You know, Mike, there is a verse in the Quran that protection of not only mosques, but churches and synagogues and places of worship is a duty of every Muslim. So we as Muslims are obligated not to protect the mosques, but also churches and any place of worship. And these criminals, by destruction of mosques and churches and all other places of worship, they show that they have
no respect for anything and anyone. And this is the situation that we are facing now.
Well, I think you're correct in your analysis that it's egos and power.
Greed is not God, it is, it's just power. And this is why they steal, they go and they steal the banks, they steal people's property. And honestly, the community people are wondering where are they coming from, these guys? Unprecedented.
When you see, oftentimes you see the pictures of the demonstrations and you see rage in the street among Islamic youth in particular. Where do you ever get that kind of momentum and motivation out of the moderates? Everyone sees the Islamic radicals. You never see a large amount of movement out of moderates like yourself.
Well, almost 95% of Muslim scholars, not only Shia, but also the Sunni, they condemn ISIS and this terrorist organization. Only a little percentage of the Wahhabi and Salafi authority, they are the one who motivate and feed this ignorance and issue filthy fatwa that encourage and mobilize these forces of darkness and ignorance. The majority of people are against it. This situation, though, is helping the Muslim community to get more awareness and have a stronger sense of need for connection and cooperation among the community to stay together and speak up against this kind of extremism and terrorism. So it's not really the majority. Those demonstration of emotions and extremism that you mentioned, I mean, from case to case, we have to look at it from case to case. Sometimes are legitimate, sometimes not legitimate, depends on the situation. But obviously, there are cases that is just extremism. Islam is a religion of reason. Anything that's not rational is not Islamic. Anything that's not just is not Islam. So if anybody brought something that doesn't make sense, that is not fair, then it is not Islam. And for that reason we say that these groups, they are absolutely anti-Islam. They are the enemies of Islam. They are destroying and damaging the image of Islam. And that is our understanding of these people.